Learning Academy. This session, we have Michelle Lewis, who is a big deal, teaching us what Kami is and how to use it in the classroom. Parents, if you haven't heard of Kami and your teacher uses Google Classroom, this is something that you will probably end up seeing in the school year. So definitely take notes. You can always refer back to this video on our website below. It will be housed there along with a copy of this presentation. So stop by and visit it anytime you want. Feel free to share it with your other parent and guardian friends. All right, Michelle, take it away.
Thank you, Nikki. It's always a pleasure coming together and just strengthening each other. And so we know that with the surge in COVID and all that's going on in our world, that never before have we needed virtual learning and ways to interact with technology more, especially in the classroom. And so I'm so glad you're here. And if you're following back after the recording, Nikki has a special website that she'll tell you about at the end for you to get additional links and uploads to help you. So the very first thing is I want to go through what is Kami. Kami is an all-in-one digital classroom hero. You can interact with any document and you simply upload it, and I'll show you that later. And you can draw in it. You can collaborate with other students or peers. Parents, you can sign documents and submit them over the internet. You can be online or offline, and it can be in class or remote. And what I love most about Kami is that it's student-centered because it gives them voice. And I'll show you some examples later from my own classroom and how you can see each student using what font they like, using what colors they like, using videos they like, just to enhance their preferred medium. And especially for our special ed population, they can hear it in certain languages, they can go at their own rate. And so there's so much to be learned with Kami. That's why I call it my hero. So the first thing, if you're a student watching this, is you can create in Kami. So you can even pull up a blank screen and you can add in images, you can add in shapes, you can add in fonts. And then you can upload it to your Google Classroom or whatever your teacher uses. You can complete assignments simply by clicking the button. That if your teacher chooses to use that in their Google Classroom or Canva account, then you would just click complete, and then you would follow the link, open it up, and then go do your assignment. You can give feedback and receive feedback to your peers. And so that is, again, why I love Kami, is the collaborative nature of it. So what can it do? You can return your completed documents. You can get real-time feedback. You can present your documents on screen. So if you wanted to present it in front of your class, or if you wanted to share it with a classmate, it has a share button and it can link out. You can use it as a whiteboard overlay if you wanted to take notes or draw. You can annotate in your reading classes. You can discuss and use the record button. And it's inclusive learning tools for all of our populations of students. And here's what I like, parents. It has full compliance with privacy and data security. So whatever happens in Kami stays in Kami. And so here's just a simple example of what can happen. If a student's working, he can record a video of himself. He can then come back over his video and overlay onto it and even create like a diagram. So many possibilities. You can highlight, you can select, you can create graphs and data points. It can scale up or scale down to whichever grade level is using it, even for preschool. And then here's my favorite part again, is you can collaborate. So many students, they can share the link and they can all be on the document at the same time. And so again, with just all that's going on in a global pandemic, if some students are at home and some students are face-to-face, and they're all in different settings, it doesn't matter. They can all come together around the shared document. Where do I get Kami? It's accessible anytime, anywhere, and it is free. Now you can pay for more features, which some districts have purchased that for families and for students and for teachers, But this link, and again, it's on that website that Nikki's going to share at the end. If you click this word, it'll take you straight to the link. If you're using Microsoft Edge, again, straight to the link. And if you want to use it in whatever browser you choose, you would just type in web.camiapp.com. Teachers, families, if you're like, how does this work? What if we don't use Google? It integrates perfectly with Google Drive, Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, and Microsoft Office OneDrive. If you're in particular using Google, you would simply click Open with Kami, and then you would make a copy. And students, let me go back to that, because that's extremely important. Many times my students would do work that I had assigned in Google Classroom, but if they didn't make their own copy and save, and then upload their copy, then it wouldn't save that. And I know Miss Kristen Robert did a presentation a few nights back on all the ways that you can use Google Classroom and save things and upload them. So that correlates perfectly with what she did. And so, and what she taught. And so just make sure that you make your own copy and you upload it and you make sure that it's saved. So if you're a student watching this, how can you use Kami? So this can go all the way up from 9th grade with complex text where you can highlight a certain word like expedition and look in your dictionary. You can even leave comments and use colors to annotate. And again, if you want to codify your learning, or if you want to draw, you can specialize it. If you wanted to create a video and screen capture, how did this discovery work? How was Polynesia first occupied? Then you could record your screen. The sky's the limit. You can be as creative as you can imagine. And then again, you would just share out. And so these are some examples from my own class on just very basic ways that they used it. So this is an example where a student, we were using a Tier 1 curriculum, and he was explaining how plants get their energy, animals get their energy from plants. And so this is him breaking it down. And again, just a very simple drawing. For the eyes, he used shapes. He thickened his line drawing, and then he thinned it out for this. This is another example where they came in and they did a synthesis reading activity where they read a book and then they filled out a graphic organizer and then wrote their new understanding. But you can see the progression. He just used simple text box, nothing fancy. This again is another student just writing a culminating activity. And this is what I wanted to point out. This is one student. He likes the gray in the background. He likes the smaller font. That was his choice of medium to use. My other student, she loved purple. Everything she turned in was purple. And that was fine with me. You may want to check with your teacher. But again, I love the personalization. And then this is another example of us using a Tier 1 curriculum in math. And you can see her thinking, the student's thinking, where she's drawing in the number line. And what I love as a teacher is it was germ-free. And as parents, I think that's so beneficial as well, is there's a record of all of their work. So no more like, where's that paper? I need to sign it. It's all housed in Google Drive or whatever medium that teacher used. So all of our workbooks, students didn't have to carry that on their back. So it was all uploaded into Drive and then transported into Kami. And so I'm going to step out for a minute, and then I'll come back to number 5. But I want to go and show you Kami in real time. So if you're creating something, you want to make sure that you open it from Google Drive if you're not taking it straight from like click on an assignment and then open in Kami. So you want to upload it into Drive and then open it and select Open with Kami. And so this is an example of a lower elementary math worksheet. And so this would be like a classwork or maybe even homework, but I'm going to click the drawing tool. Well, let me go through all the tools. So the first tool is select. So that's for this, all you would do, and you would just select something. So that's, let's say if I had a shape or something, I would put it here, then I would come to select, and then I would grab it. If I didn't like it, I would click it, and then I would delete it. Simply press delete. If I wanted to mark up something, I have several options. I could highlight it, and then I could pick my own color. If I wanted to change the color, then I'll just come again, change it. If I wanted to highlight whatever I wanted, like this, color freehand highlighter, to where it's not like all in one spot. If I wanted to put a box highlighter, where I would highlight in certain sections. And then here's one of my favorite tools. I go back to the select, I click this, and it deletes all of it. So select annotations. And an annotation is just anything that you add onto an existing.
Okay, I didn't know of that trick, and I am like, ah, that's so good.
We learned that the hard way because we used Kami for everything last year. And so when you're doing math, sitting there having to erase everything like this.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Oh my gosh.
Let's say you're doing it like this. And then you have to sit there and erase every single thing. I mean, sometimes it'll let you do it in groups like that. You can also do like all annotations, but the easiest way is to go to select, drag it over everything, and then just release it.
Oh my gosh. That right there saved me a lot of time in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Gosh. And then here's one of my favorite. Okay, so I'm going to jump off of math because, well, let me show you this one. So I could come in and I can make it a color, a shape. And again, it's just select and push down where you want it to go. If I wanted to put an answer in the box, I would just select, and then I could change my font. I could change my size. I could change the color. Anything, and then I could put in a different color like that. And so, and again, if I didn't like it, you could click and delete. Or if you saw that little box that looks like a storage box, you would save. And here's what I love. See this undo button? Definitely comes in handy. It does have an edit history, not as good as Google Sheets, but it does have an edit history in case you need something. So like, well, we can get to that in a second. But let's say I wanted to add an equation. You can come in and insert certain symbols. So if I wanted to add greater than or less than, and then if it's not where I want it to be, again, I could click it, click the crossbow, and then drag it up where I want it. And then another thing is media. Let's say I wanted to come down here and, I wanted to add a picture of a pirate and a palm tree to illustrate my point. I could add media. I could go to Google, click it, select, there you go. And then you can resize as you want. And so you could say 30 feet away, so you could draw. But you can do so much. And then you come in a text box here, 30 feet. It's infinite possibilities. And so again, instead of having to turn in pen and paper, you can turn it all in virtually. And what I love is nothing is ever lost. No more searching for papers. So that is one example. Let me show you another example. So this is a student sample. So let's say you're a student and you want to give feedback to another student. This is the example I showed you earlier from one of my students from last year that I pulled out of our Google Classroom. But you could come in and you could actually voice over. So if you wanted to read the directions.
Express each fraction as the sum of 2 or 3 equal fractional parts. Rewrite each as a multiplication equation. Show part A on a number line.
You can even change the voice. So again, this is for...
Expresser H fraction A de somme of 2 or 3 égale fractional part. Rewrite H à multiplication.
So if you are a bilingual student, or if you are a student who sometimes you just need to hear something in it like sped up, you can listen to it like this.
Express each fraction as the sum of 2 or 3 equal fractional parts. Rewrite each as a multiplication equation.
Or you can
show part A on a number line.
And so if there's a word you don't know, so let's say you're like, I don't really remember what a fractional part is.
Fractional part.
You can even look it up in the dictionary. So you would just click, and here's all the definitions right there for you. And so again, everything is at your disposal if you're a student who just needs a little extra help. And I'm one of those students even now. So it depends on what I'm looking at. And so I just love, even for adults, Kami is universal. It's a classroom hero. And so let's say I wanted to sign my name. You could sign your name like this. You can add it in. If you're a parent and you had to sign, especially right now, all the forms that are coming home, you would just put your signature in. You'd say upload. And there it is. Let's see. There you go, insert. And then
this
you would,
signature one, this is amazing because I think someone in the chat talked about how they used it with doctor's notes and that kind of stuff recently. And I don't know about you guys, I get asked to sign stuff all the time. And if your printer's not hooked up or you don't have a fax machine, that is such a pain. This is so much better.
Yes, and it's fast. And then again, there's your documentation. So let's say I wanted to send this through an email if you're a parent watching. I would come to right here, this little button that says sharing. And then you could say anyone with the link. You want to make sure that you click anyone with the link, because if it's restricted, that means only you can see it. And if you don't want anybody to change anything, editor means that they can come in and delete or add. Again, this parents, it goes with signature signing or helping your child. If let's say a parent's at work in another state, or they're on their lunch break and their kid needs help, or you're getting tutoring from a college level class, so you're 7th grader. And again, we don't have to be in the same space. So this again is where it works for what we need right now in the world. But they can have co-editing rights. And if you're a student watching, this is how you co-collaborate. So you would just share the link. And if you just wanted somebody to look at it, then you would click viewer. But you would come right here, press copy. You would go into whatever email you wanted to send, and then you would just paste. And so that's how that's done. But I think of like link. So it looks almost like a wishbone, all the joints and all the links. That's how I remember that. If you want it to save it, print it, it's all up here. Earlier, students, I told you to make sure that when you make a copy and you have to upload it for an assignment for a teacher, you want to make sure you download it. That way it saves all of your drawings. You can share it with the link, but sometimes I find on big files, I liked it when my students would download it because then it saved it as a PDF and I didn't have to go in and click an additional Open in Kami app button. So it wasn't Open in Drive, Open in Google Classroom, Open in Kami. It was right there where I could see it and I could quickly grade it. But again, you may want to check with your teacher first. It's whatever she prefers. But back to this with the collaborative nature. So let's say you're a student and you want to leave a comment for another student. So you're not live collaborating in real time. You're kind of looking at a friend's work after and giving a peer review. Then you would come right here to comment. You could just put a text box like this. And it puts it on the side. So you'd want to highlight like whatever it is that you and you would just say you may want to evaluate your answer. And then that's it. And then they can write a reply back. Oh, thanks for the tip. If you want it to record it, you would simply record it by pressing this. Here's what I love. You could press a video comment. And if you remember what I showed you way earlier, this part right here, you even wanted to share your screen. And I know we love Flipgrid. This is very similar to Flipgrid, where you can record your screen, you can show exactly what you're doing, same level of access. And then the last thing that I want to show you is, let's say that you are a teacher here, or you are a homeschool parent and you're trying to give your kid additional work, or you're a child and you're looking to share something. My students they got so versatile with technology that by the end, some of them were like creating quizzes and creating study guides and sharing with their friends. It was beautiful what they were doing. But you would come right here to these 3 bars. And that's kind of think about like a book with your table of contents. And that's how I remember those 3 bars. Same thing like in Drive, how we go to we call it the hamburger, but the same thing, where all your additional features are going to unfold. That's where you would come right here to the 3 lines. That's your menu, your choices, your expansion of choices. You can come and create a Google assignment. So you would just do this. And you can share it with a friend through Google Classroom. You would upload it to Drive. You would just type in your title. Tell it what class, not assigning points. And you would just put your preferences and press assign, and then it'll upload it. Or if you wanted to, and this is what I said earlier with the edit history, let's say you made a big mistake, then you could just press restore annotations instead of having to click back, undo, undo, undo. So this is a faster way to go about doing that. Again, Nikki, you could just press this button, delete them all, or you could go to the select, click this one, either one. If you wanted to look at several pages at one time, you could do this, show cover pages. So now I can see everything I can zoom out. I can see everything that's expected of me, so I know how to pace myself. If our teacher, instead of printing out our workbook, if your teacher instead said, I want you to jump to page 69 in your workbook, instead of having to scroll through, you could come right here and you could tell it jump to page, and you would just type in the page number that you need. And let's say you were presenting in your classroom, which is what I love. You would just tell it to present. And so you press escape. So that's pretty much that. And if you want to hide comments, you press that. So, and the rest is kind of up to your imagination. And so you can go as in-depth or as basic as you like. Parents, you can upload the Kami app, and if your kids are at the restaurant, they can color on a whiteboard page. I mean, you can go as much or as little as you want with it. So back to our last point.
Michelle, I did have a question come up. It was, is Kami free?
Yes, perfect. And that's what perfect timing, Nikki.
Thank you. Good. Awesome. I'll pop back off then.
No, I love having you. So how do you use Kami? Well, and if Nikki's going to tell you more in like 2 minutes, but you would come here, you would check this out. And again, all of these are in the file that I shared with Nikki. All these links link out. You can, if you want to get certified and learn so much more than what I've taught you, and get like a little virtual badge, you can go here. If you want, there are more resources. If you get stuck on something because it's technology, something comes up, you can email the team, and there's a technical support if you want to follow them on Twitter for updates or Facebook. So all the links for any additional information is here, including, let me go back. Is it free? Yes. It is absolutely free. And again, you would just click this, and it'll take you to a website, a YouTube page that will tell you how to download it into your browser.
Every day, teachers do incredible things.
Very slow, but or you could come here, and it will take you to the actual web page, to the link with additional information. So that concludes everything. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through Twitter. My handle is _M_Lewis_ because I decided to make the most complicated Twitter handle ever. And so, yeah, if you're a student, reach out, be creative. I wanted to show you this. This is a video of my students because I just want to show them all. Using it with each other. So some students were at home and some were face to face. You and Rima. Okay, I'm excited to see what y'all came up with. All right, so show me. This is Rima, and this is Bryce. Rima's at home. Bryce is in class. Everybody's following our COVID protocols. Mm-hmm. And we were doing a Tier 1 curriculum where they were engineering a water filtration design. And so it looks like a bunch of squares and squiggles, but when you hear Bryce's explanation, you understand the complexity of his design. And then I'll show you. Apparently, the red, that color that he chose was where he chose to do like heated coils using solar panels. And he had this whole system. They even looked at what temperature it needed to be to be purity. And again, that was all through Kami. It was assigned in Google Classroom. They shared and worked on it collaboratively in Kami. And then they presented it to me together. And they were not physically in the same room. And so this is another student right here. I'll try to zoom in. This is Reem, Krish, but he's showing this to one of my other students, Jules. But you can see he actually used shapes. He had a pop-out window where he gave a diagram within a diagram. So again, you can personalize Kami and make it as, like here's an example, as in depth. And this is Sweet Artez, and he's presenting this to an engineer. We had visit our class, again, all virtually. But his even, I wish I could zoom in more. But he drew the clouds. He drew a whole system. He inserted a text box. His classmates gave comments. You can see him showing it directly from Google Classroom on his end. And he's presenting it to actually,
sorry, Michelle, that actually brings up a great point someone said in the chat. Just to let everyone know that you do have to give access to Google to sign into Kami. That way they talk to each other.
Yes. Okay. That is critically essential. I can't believe I didn't say that. Thank you, Nikki.
That was a great tip. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Let me show you, for example, would have to go into Google Classroom, but I'll have to go into Drive to show you. But let's see. Oh, I could have just gone through apps. There you go.
I didn't even think about that either. I can't believe I didn't think about that too.
No, that's a great point. And you see how I have the Kami app, but let's say I want it to open anything. I'll just, if you're a parent or a guardian or a teacher watching, let's see. Who knows what's going to pop up? We're live.
Always dangerous.
I'm like, we're live. But let's see. Let's look at a schedule or something. Who knows? Or an ID picture. That's fine. Let's see. So I could even open this. It should give me the choice when I pop it up. Probably should have picked a PDF. Let's see. Let's just do PDF. Okay. So we can do this one. And this is what it looks like on a student's end. That's an excellent point you brought up. So if you don't click this open with, annotate with Kami.
Okay, good.
And then there you go. And then if it's a student, you want to press make a copy.
Yeah.
Unless it's assigned in Google Classroom, then it's already done it for you. And you just do what you gotta do. My phone internet. Okay.
That was awesome. Guys, thank you so much for the comments. Thank you guys so much for the weigh-in, the comments, the inspiration. Like, you guys were so great. One thing I do want to show you, parents, if you're watching later, you can go to our website. It's right here posted down there below. bit.ly/GGuardians. And on this website, we have the schedule, which is all the videos, and they will eventually not have times, and they will tell you all of the topics, so you can click right on them. We also have parent resources. Here's what's important. Any presentation that we've done, any resource that we shared are all right here. So here's our Google Classroom ones from a few days ago. Here's our Google Slides cheat sheet, our Windows 10 Kami presentation. So the presentation with videos tonight is right there for you to watch. So if you missed something, it's okay. We got you covered. So thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to help present to our parents and guardians. This was awesome. I learned something about Kami I didn't know. So it's always good to learn new things. Thank you.
It's an honor. And to every parent watching, it just shows your heart to help support and connect. And if you're a student watching, it just shows your diligence. And so if you're here, I'm so proud of you and I'm so grateful. It's going to be a good year.
Thank you, guys.